pounds per year.
Really?
Average UK salary. Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought that.
Matcha is expensive here.
So you earn 1 million a year? What does the average person in the UK actually make a year? In this video, I'll be asking foreigners their thoughts on this and is it enough to live on? Stick around because some of the answers are crazy. Alright, I'm here with
Orlando.
And where are you from?
New Zealand.
Nice. So what do you think the average UK salary is for a full-time employee?
If I recall correctly, I think it's 45,000 a year.
Okay.
I think, yeah.
Where does that figure come from?
The Google AI overview.
Here with
Ella. Louisa.
And where are you from?
We're from Texas. Texas.
What do you think the average salary is for a full-time worker in the UK in pounds sterling?
60,000.
60,000?
We go with, I think, 75,000.
75,000. Wow. Okay, so I'm here with your name?
Giuseppe,
And where are you from?
Italy.
Italy. So what do you think is the average salary of people in the UK?
4 or 5 million.
4 or 5 million. So you think on average people earn 4 or 5 million per year? I'm here with?
Alex,
Where are you from?
Switzerland, Germany, the US.
So what do you think the average UK salary is for a full-time employee?
20K?
20,000?
Maybe, yeah.
I'm here with your names?
Katerina.
Naya.
Nice. And where are you from?
I'm from the US.
Nice.
Yes, also.
And what do you think the average salary for people in the UK is per year?
My original guess was like 29.
29,000?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say around maybe like 32.
22. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a conservative guess. I like it. So we had other Americans who guessed 60,000.
Oh, that's no.
All right, you feel like
What's
you know
the
it better. Well, according to the Office of National Statistics, in 2025, it was 39,000, or just over 39,000, 39,039 pounds for a full-time employee, the average UK salary. What do you think of that?
It's an average, right? So it's gonna be pulled up by London, but then also pulled down by other parts of the country, right? So ideally should be higher, but yeah, it is what it is.
So the average salary is actually just a little bit over 39,000 pounds per year. Yeah.
So we were pretty high on that one.
Yeah. It's 39,000 actually.
39?
Yeah.
Really?
Average UK salary. Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought that.
No, why not?
I've seen like some postings online for jobs that I would consider pretty attainable or like, you know, desirable, and they're like 30K. So I would have thought that like if you're not university educated, which I don't know, maybe there's more jobs available, which for people that are not university educated, that then the salaries would be lower. So I think 39K for me honestly is pretty surprising.
So the answer is 39,039 pounds.
Okay. Closer, yeah.
Do you think that is enough to survive on in the UK? So you've been here for what, 5 years, you said.
Yeah.
Do you think that's enough to survive on in the UK, 39,339 pounds per year?
In London, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I can't say for the rest of the UK though. I'm not too sure. I think it's still difficult though.
Do you think that's enough to survive on in the UK?
In London, I wouldn't say so.
No.
Well, unless you want to live like super far away and commute in, and I think it's tough.
What salary do you think would be good or enough for people to survive on in the UK?
Obviously, it depends on your lifestyle and like who you're surrounded by and things like that. You could live off 40K, but then you'd have to, you know, you couldn't eat out very often. Comfortably in London and a nice place somewhere central, 50, maybe even a bit more, but then you're working in investment banking, you have no life, so.
Why do you say absolutely not for the UK? For London, Mal?
For London, just because rent is expensive here, and even if you do live like kind of outside, if you work in the city, it's quite expensive to travel into the city. Could be like what, like 15 to 20 quid a day. So I think that's expensive. Also, matcha is expensive here as well. Like it's the same, sorry, I love matcha, but it's the same price as like in the US, where like in New York, you could be making a lot more money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the average salary in Italy, do you know?
I think 1 million.
1 million. So you earn 1 million a year? You earn 1 million euros a year?
No.
What do you do? What do you do in Italy?
I'm a student.
You're a student? Okay. So you're not earning anything then? No. Alright. Why do you think ideally it should be higher?
Maybe it's because, you know, when I've come to the UK, I've spent all my time in London, which is quite a high cost, you know, area of the country to live in. So I guess my experience of UK prices would be, you know, anchored on London prices, and London's very expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that amount, 39,000 per annum, is enough for someone to survive on in the UK?
Depends on where. In London, I'd say you would probably struggle, but I think in other parts of the country, you might just about get by, yeah.
How does that compare to what you think average salaries are in the USA?
I mean, it's definitely a lot lower than average salaries in the US, but the cost of living can be a lot lower, definitely across Europe too. So it just kind of compares to a lot of different things.
Do you think 39,000 per annum in the UK is enough to survive on?
Not really. I think, well, definitely there's the whole cost of living thing too. So I think the cost of living is going up. So probably salary should go up a little bit more too.
Yeah, same thing. I think, well, since the cost of living is so high, it should be higher to support yourself and your family and everything like that.
What about where you're from? What's average salaries like there?
Switzerland, so quite a bit more. I would say probably, I think McDonald's, you make 50k already, you know.
Yeah, McDonald's pays like 15 euros or 15 francs, Swiss francs per hour, doesn't it?
It's unreal. Yeah, it's unreal. So yeah. And then the issue is that many other countries, like also Germany, salaries like for like one job that I'm applying for is like 67k starting.
Wow.
But the cost of living is so much less in like London. I mean, here to get like a decent flat somewhere near like the center of the city where like your office would be, substantially more than like, you know, Frankfurt or Munich. So I think there's a big discrepancy between UK salaries and cost of living compared to other countries.
How much would it be in Italy, do you think?
Cioè, salary for living. And south of Italy, 20,000 euro.
Euros?
Yeah.
A year? You can survive on?
A good
Life?
yeah.
20,000 euros in the south of Italy.
Yeah.
Where in the south of Italy?
Calabria.
I might need to move there. That seems like a good life. What can you get for 20,000 euros in the south of Italy?
Good home. You can visit other place out of Italy. A medium car. And I think this.
What do you think would be a good amount or average to be, or the amount that people should get to be able to survive and have a good quality of life in the UK?
Something like 45 to 50 a year. I think you could probably have an okay quality of life. Again, depends on where you live.
And how does that compare to New Zealand?
Let's see. So the average being about 39,000. So that's about rounded to New Zealand dollars. It's about 80,000. So it's higher than I think what you'd make on average in New Zealand.
What do you think is the amount that's needed in New Zealand that works?
Again, it depends on your family situation. I think if you're, I don't know, say you're like family of 3, so that's like father, mother, child. I'd say each parent would probably have to make around 90,000 in New Zealand to sort of do well, get by, yeah.
Do you think that's enough?
Not in London, no, not in London. If you're a single person, maybe, but if you've got children, you've got a significant other, I don't think it's enough. No, not in London, definitely. Maybe in other parts of the UK, but in likelihood it's in other parts of the UK, it's probably going to be a bit less, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And that job that you mentioned that's like 60 plus, that's euro, right?
60,000 you mean in Germany or what? Yes.
Yeah, German, it's euros.
Yeah, euros, yeah.
What is that job?
Brand marketing at P&G, Procter & Gamble.
Okay. Do you think that's a good starting salary?
I think it's reasonable, yeah. I mean, to beat that, I think you'd have to be in consulting or finance, and then you're working substantially more. So if you compare like the cost, like the wage per hour, you're doing pretty well.
So given what you've experienced of like cost of living here compared to other countries that you've lived in, where would you rather live it go in the future?
Good question. I would rather not stay in London because the salary doesn't really meet the cost of living. I think New York is also more expensive. It's also like, you know, comparable to London, but I'd be making quite a bit more money. But I think Switzerland is a good alternative. For instance, Geneva, check it out. If you work in Switzerland and live on the border in France, you spend like basically nothing living there, but you make the Swiss salary. So, and that's a good like end game.
And commuting within Geneva and like Switzerland in general is quite easy as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you've got like, you know, the trains and everything. It costs quite a lot, but I think you have a good lifestyle. You know, you have the lakes, the skiing. So if you're making like a decent salary, it can be quite nice.
How have you found the prices to be here in the UK since you've been here?
I think they're expensive, yeah.
So what's been the most expensive thing that you find in the UK?
All. The food, the clothes. For example, the metro is less expensive, I think. It's like economy.
Yeah.
Yes.
What are your hopes for the future in terms of salary and what you want to do?
Ideally, like, the sky's the limit, right? A maximum, wow. Maybe like 100, 110, but yeah, taxes are very high.
Where do you aim to work? Is that here, New Zealand, or somewhere else?
Probably like to stay here for a few years, yeah, and then sort of see how it goes. Yeah.
What kind of work do you think you'd be doing or hope to do?
I hope to get into accounting.
And where are you from?
London.
Nice. Okay, so we've got people from the UK. What do you think is the average UK salary?
So 35,000.
35,000. It's 39,000, just over 39,000 a year. What do you think of that?
39,000 is not a lot to live on in London, especially.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure, you know, cost of living in other, you know, places in the country.
What do you think a salary would be that could have a good quality of life in the UK needs to be? What should it be?
In London, yeah, 60 to 100,000, to be honest, I would say, to live comfortably, you know, if you want to go on a holiday once a year.
And do you work at all, or have you worked at all, and how have you found that in terms of what you think your future salaries will be?
I used to work at a pub, but obviously I was still living at home, so for me it was extra money saving up to go travelling. But honestly, I couldn't really imagine living on that salary, which was $11.50 an hour, owning my own place. I don't think I could do it, to be honest.
How do you think you'll survive in the UK? Like, what are your plans to kind of make that salary that you think is needed to survive and have a good quality of life?
We're obviously both very lucky. We've got fairly well-off parents and we're at a pretty high-ranked university. So for us, hopefully it's not going to be too hard, but even the graduate job market sucks at the moment. So who knows, to be honest, for our future.
What would you rate your prospects for the future out of 1 to 10, where 10 is fantastic, the best it could possibly be, and 1 is the worst?
For me, I'm quite optimistic. I'd say probably 7 or 8, just because I feel like I'd be able to make the most of what's been given to me. We're in very lucky positions, and yeah, I reckon we can capitalise.
Do you think £39,000 per year is enough to survive on in the UK? Wherever you are in the UK or wherever you live in the world, do you think you'd be able to survive on that much? Share what you think about what was said in this video. Catch you in the next. Hi everyone, my name is Korede and I'm embarking on an exciting challenge going from 100 subscribers to 10,000 subscribers in 1 month. I need your help to achieve this. I am a YouTuber, I make great exciting videos, traveling, asking people about hot topics. You can check out my videos, subscribe, follow, share and like. Let's hit this target of 10,000 subscribers in 1 month. Together we can do this. Let the internet unite and let's make this happen.